had, you know, Rascal coming in on the Batista and stuff like that. But Moth is looking very solid right now, and I think it's really impressive too when you consider that for part of that stage 4 meta, he was the only Westerner on the team. And the coordination is still good, and arguably positioning with Lucio and your timings for your ultimates are more important than ever. London's taking a page out of New York's book a little bit here. We're seeing a lot more Bastion in this meta right now, and they will go for the defensive stuff here with the Pharah, so setting up kind of a crossfire here. You know that your opponent's not going to have a lot of range damage to deal with the Pharah, and then their shields are going to be broken down by the Bastion. And, you know, the Doomfist can punch across, but can't punch that far, so he's going to have to get closer.
Yep, already. And I was going to say precarious spot, but now he's dead.
Well, yeah, when you're out there, there's just no coming back when Prophet could just find you.
Yeah. There wasn't many places left to hide.
You need help getting back to spawn, buddy?
Yeah, there you
I'll
go.
show you the way.
The very express taxi service coming in from Prophet.
Well, now they're cut in half, 2 of their members in respawn, so they're trying to kind of weather the storm there in the Atria, but...
It's at least like the 2 that are the most mobile.
Yeah. And that's why they died, too, in an ironic way.
They're working their way around the back.
Sinatra could try to use
like this against the Bastion. It's always very scary. Mortality Field has been used. Striker does manage to finish that one off, and Guard's going to be dropping down, but Striker finds the kill. Moth's going to be picked off again. This time Gesture finding the final blow onto the enemy Lucio. Up there onto that bar in the sky. Prophet going to be down to about half HP. Striker trying to get the kill here onto Fury, but is unable to do so, and the Coalescence comes in a little bit too late from Violent to try to keep him alive, but Prophet's still going to be taken out of the sky. Nuss manages to find the res, but already 2 ticks, nearly the entire point taken for the shock, and they might just have it right here. Fury barely manages to step up onto the corner. Barrage comes down from above. Prophet finds 2. Now just looks to finish off Violent, but already so much percentage, giving up 98% to the shock.
Prophet's sitting at almost 40% of his team's damage. And if this keeps up, I mean, this is with a Bastion on the squad, by the way. So if this keeps up, he might hit 50%.
Yeah.
It's just rising. Guard shooting mostly barriers, obviously, to be fair. But that's the point of the Pharah in this situation. There's no counter to it range-wise, and you just shoot around the barriers because you could position yourself anywhere because you could fly. You can control these chokes. Yeah, experimental barrier goes over there. One shooting behind you over here.
Try to pull them together again. With that halt, are unable to do so. Major pressure being applied onto Striker now in the side room. He falls low. As we see, that Flux come in. Gesture will slam Smurf back down to the ground, finishes him off, and Violet is cut off in the backside. He's trying to do something for his team, but will get finished off in the end, and the res is there for Badosha just for good measure as well.
Yeah. Guard's got configuration tank. Was able to do a lot more damage in that extended fight here, the second one. Shock got 2 ticks. They're going to have Gravitic Flux and Meteor Strike, and you know that's exactly how this hero was designed, was to break bunker compositions. You can't really call this straight up a bunker, but you can break a Bastion setup with that Flux if used correctly. If the follow-up damage is there, they have Coalescence too. And in the longer fight, Striker will build that Death Blossom. So if Shock can't win with this set of ultimates, I think we're seeing a full hold here.
Well, pushing their way out, Coalescence has been used. Jump into the back, really aggressive plays there from Moth, trying to find a kill. Guard going to be hitting the ground, has that. Yeah, Matrix ready to go. Pumps out the damage, and the shock will be held off. Sound barrier still ready. Death Blossom about to be online as well as the supercharger, but can they get in position to actually utilize these?
I mean, that's the thing. Like this was the ult push they needed to win with. I mean, this is an almost unlosable fight with the ultimates they had, but Prophet came in with a sick flank. Let's take a look at this actually from his first-person view. As everyone commits to the Bastion, Guard survives, and then Prophet gets a perfect angle here. There's no one to block him. Choyobin is not ready with his grasp there to absorb that, and it's just free damage. That's a huge problem. They still hold the tank.
Low approach. Barrier goes out, already going to be taken down. There's a barrier, not going to last too much longer either. Great barriers coming out from Gesture to block the accretions, making sure that they do not stun up this Bastion. Death Blossom out from Striker, manages to find one. Fury going to be taken down. Guard pops the configuration tank, but then instantly gets picked. Oh no, that's catastrophic for the London Spitfire with this defense. They're still obviously taking them down to overtime, but it seems like the full hold now not going to be possible. The Pharmacy is taken out of the sky, and that will just be the finish. So close to closing this one out with a full hold, but the Spitfire crumble right at the last second. So 2.5 minutes now on the clock for the Shock.
They have still the barrage available, and you know they, as you say, bought a ton of time as the split spawns come through here. They're gonna sneak their way out. Guard actually sticking with this Bastion though. He had a chance to change. And it is still very powerful against what the Shock are running. But the Pharah is not going to have as much free reign here once we get closer to B. You have a lot less room to work with. And the point becomes a lot more narrow focused.
The hack there onto Prophet. Trying to find the kill. Immortality Field are going to be forced to keep Nuss alive.
You can see that Prophet struggles to find damage here around these barriers at this juncture, at this corner, because if he does pop out here, you know, he's a lot more exposed, and the barrier window is much easier to block. You know, against one-sided rockets. You can't get behind them.
Barrage does come in! You were saying, actually killed both people who have barriers. Choyobin and Smurf get taken down off the bat.
Choyobin's coverage as Diva versus Pharah is probably top 3 in the league. You know, he's on pretty much everybody's Roll Star list. He made the Tank Roll Star list for 2019, but the Sigma play from him in terms of absorbing these barrages in this particular map in Nimbani, not been so good. It's on a very long cooldown, so, you know, especially when you're up against a Bastion, it's forgivable, but he's just not ready for these blocks when he needs to be. Experimental barrier not blocking him either, and it's because Prophet's kind of threading the needle and getting into these positions. You know, I said he couldn't get behind them, but Shock put themselves in that choke, and he just waited right on top.
Activating the barrier.
And London look extremely prepared for Nimbani. I mean, they're playing a lot of what New York did on this map. They learned from their mistakes, they learned from their loss, adapting here in this playoff series.
1 member's split off there, but the EMP comes through, and that's going to be 4 members hacked on the side of London Spitfire. Mortality Field comes in at the last second to help keep Gesture and guard alive for a little bit longer, but they will be taken down in the end, and that will be point B gained for the Shock. 20 seconds remaining as they roll in. Going to be bumped up to 1:50.
It's just these big clutch moments from the Shock that they're finding so much success with.
That was
not,
a
it's
scary
not,
moment.
Yeah, it certainly was. It's not going to get you a great time, but it is going to get you the points you need. Force your way through. Sinatra going to stick with this Sombra and try to build another EMP here.
Okay, goodbye, Prophet. Already going to be eliminated. The hack goes forward on the guard. Res is there from Nuss. And now the Ant Matrix going to be tossed into the corner as well. Death Blossom, a very aggressive one from Striker. He will not be able to find any kills, but they still do manage to take down 3.
Yeah, big question is, can they find Prophet here? It's actually going to rotate back around. The rest of the team will have time to get out. Guard has configuration tank as well.
Just got to be careful because EMP is available
yeah,
for
that's the
Sinatra.
scary thing. Guard does not want to get caught by that. It'll completely nullify his effectiveness. Won't be able to do anything in this upcoming fight if he does get caught. No support ultimates available.
EMP out. Sinatra instantly dead on the back end of that one, but Prophet will fall. Everybody hacked in that EMP, and see them trying to hide in the side room. Fury will get chased down and eliminated. Configuration tank out. They'll be expiring pretty shortly here, and so far, not really seeing the kills. A lot of damage to be offered up, but now the sound barrier comes through. And Guard doesn't know which way to look. Turns out, whichever direction it is, it's not a good one. He gets taken down, the rocket punch from Sinatra. Puts him in the grave as Nuss tries to get the res off. It will be interrupted. Fury just going to be rolling around, trying to buy some time. The Blizzard comes through, but is that going to be enough? Because now there's no one on the cart. They tag in for a moment. Guard coming in with the Tracer, forced to recall, tries to tag back in. Will get pushed away. The Shock rolled through to the end of Nimbani with 9 seconds remaining. 9.7 seconds.
9.7 seconds is actually the difference between win conditions here for the San Francisco Shock, depending on if London Spitfire finishes the map. Could have been in draw territory there, so very important they're able to get those.
Yeah, solid finish here for the Shock. I mean, making it to the end after nearly being full held at point A. A very good turnaround performance from them in Nimbani. Now we're going to see how they fare on the defense when we come back for the next half.
Support your team with the official Overwatch League Coca-Cola bottles at CokeStore.com. Ships to all 50 U.S. states, Washington, D.C., and U.S. P.O. boxes.
welcome back. It's time for the London Spitfire to go on the attack here in their map selection of Numbani. Shock make it to the end with 9.7 seconds remaining. Now we have to see how they fare on the defense.
Yeah, this has been a very tense first two maps for San Francisco Shock. I mean, when you look at the matchup against Atlanta, Atlanta went undefeated in stage 4. They're very clearly in great form heading into playoffs, so it's not a real huge surprise that Shock could be upset. It was a very close series. But when you look at these first two maps, even though Shock finished Numbani and did take Busan, if you're a Shock fan, you're kind of feeling like, are we playing to our full potential here? Is Shock playing to our to what we expect to see from them? And it's not a clear answer. They will start with the Doomfist here with the Bastion on the opener, and Guard's going to look for that Bastion opening where you try to just deposit the Bastion on the left side, break through the enemy barrier, but obviously Striker has positional advantage here, so this can get a little bit tricky, especially when you have the Doomfist crossfire as well, where you're just trying to force this into the right position because there's going to be so much burst. Looks like Guard's considering doing the left side walk around. It's so risky to do.
Pushing their way up. Spot Choi Hyobin. And now it's going to be the dueling Bastions. Bionade is out onto the members of the Spitfire, but they're saved for the moment by that immortality field. So
really cool
connected,
placement.
but they get woken up. Walls come in, and Fury barely makes it out with his life intact.
The immortality field couldn't be destroyed because it was actually within the staircase.
Yeah.
So Guard knew he was safe no matter what, despite the bio grenade. So really nice placement there from Badoshin. He's able to build up a very fast ultimate here. He's going to toss it out. The wall is there.
Still just going to be such an interesting situation to see how the London Spitfire can push their way forward. Amp Matrix has been used. Now it's going to be the Gravitic Flux coming in. Immortality field was already burned. The Bionade connects in already. 3 going to be gone. See here, Striker surging ahead, 25% up towards that configuration tank.
Choi Hyobin leads the Gravitic Flux charge war because he had a position where he could find damage, whereas Gesture spent most of his time in the stairwell here in this choke point, just trying to help set up experimental barriers for the Bastion attack. Guard will swap over to Hanzo here. Not really in his hero pool. We've seen him experiment with it a few times this season, but this is a worrying look here, and Shock have configuration tank.
Ooh. Great shot there. If they could get the finish on Sinatra, that'd be a big way to open things up, but it's
accretion.
Yeah, nice. Gonna be greeted with a rock to the face in midair.
That could have been bad if he was just a little bit further back.
Yeah, fall off the side of the map. Rockets going in. Immortality field has been used. The Striker falls low. Feels back for the moment to get topped up, and here that Nano gonna be invested in the Sinatra. As he just waits. But Spitfire playing it patiently. They hear the Nano go out, they just pull back.
Yeah, but they're running out of time. I mean, sure, 2 minutes is still a decent amount. We know Shock took the point in overtime.
But they also had it up to 98% on the first
Exactly.
push, realistically. So they were starting with 2 ticks.
They also had a really great set of ultimates to break it open. And this is just to break shields. That's the whole Hanzo pick here. And eventually, you know, you're going to break enough, you're going to get that ultimate.
They make their way forward onto the point. Sonic Arrow out trying to spot them, but everybody's still playing in that same corner. Shots going down from Guard, trying to break up the barriers. Will be greeted with an experimental one down the lane.
Ooh, it's in the immortality field's used, so now this could be a huge Dragon Strike from Guard. There's no counter.
They're gonna get dragged in, and oh, Prophet with the barrage! The setup absolutely massive. Cuts down 3, Guard gets Choi Hyobin, and that will be them capping the point. Just about a minute remaining in the time bank. Great synergy with the halts. Doesn't matter if it's Gesture or Fury, the halt there with Prophet. Always great synergy
Watch
here. We'll
this.
go ahead and take another look at it.
Yeah, pulls him up right into it.
And he pushes up while he's got 46 HP.
Yeah, he's no fear. He's got complete trust in us, and that this setup is going to happen with Fury pulling them in. And, you know, it was all crazy because before that, I thought the fight was going to be all about the Dragon Strike because Moth had to use his immortality field early, and they were in that choke, so, you know, you either have to walk away or die if you're going to try to hold your ground there. Configuration tank is ready. A lot of that can be mitigated, though, in this fight from Gesture.
Gravitic Clock's gonna be used. Gesture pulling around the side. Meteor Strike from Sinatra manages to find one as Guard gets taken down. Fury eliminated as well. And that will just be the cleanup here for the Shock, only losing out on Moth.
You could tell the way that Gesture looked. You know, we had his first-person view there. You could tell by the way he turned away from that Flux. He just didn't even want to know about how the results were going to look. There's not a follow-up that they could really try to pull off there to make that engagement there work. So it's probably pretty frustrated with how that turned out. It was a nice one in terms of how many enemies looked like they were going to be caught, but there was just no follow-up damage. Prophet swaps over to Mei, and this is exactly what we were talking about earlier in you know, Monty's tweet about lack of adaptability on the fly. Like, it feels like London are lost here in terms of what heroes they want to run.
Meanwhile, Striker just sitting here, waiting, spamming down the lane. Barriers coming out. They will get boosted up over the top. Immortality Field's going to be used by Spitfire, but Guard manages to find the kill, and there's no res for the Shock. The big flux going to be used. Choyobin pulling 3 up into the air, slams them back down, but cannot finish off Guard. Boulder goes out, Bionade hits 3. They hold Choyobin back in. He tries to keep himself topped up on that high ground, absorbs a little bit. Again, Hulk coming through. Now on a threat of being frozen, but Prophet gonna be taking a nap over onto the card. Makes it into the ice block as Guard uses that configuration tank and manages to find one on the Sinatra. He's a lot more than that. Choyobin will get set up and finished off. Now back up onto the cart, just have to get rid of Smurf, which they do. And they should be able to start advancing again.
I mean, I am very impressed by the Flex support players for both teams, by the way. Violet is hitting so many massive bio grenades, but Ocean is there with the Immortality Field every time. So it looks like Shock are good to go. They see the bio grenade and they're like, well, we're going to commit to this fight. They can't heal. This is our fight to lose. And then Ocean hits a great Immortality Field and they're kind of out where they don't want to be, because he's just always got it available when he needs it.
Yeah.
And it's just insane. Like, Violet's playing God tier, but so is Badoshan to respond. Sinatra has Meteor Strike for this next fight.
Drop-down comes in, Meteor Strike going to be used. Fury already taken out as the Supercharger and that Immortality Field. The stun will greet him as he exits. Falls low, but they will be able to top him up. So Spitfire going to be held off as the punch looks for a kill, and Gesture gets cut off by his own team. Prophet puts the wall up. He says, I'm not letting you back in.
Yeah, that's it's got to be a rough feeling to kind of get staggered like that, but there's no way out. You know, you're doomed. Prophet has Blizzard for this upcoming fight, and, you know, Immortality Field will be available, but if he can get a good angle here, I think that's going to be really their win condition. You're going to be able to set up after the Blizzard, the Graphitic Flux, rather. And look at his positioning here. He's right where he wants to be.
Lux comes in. Get dropped back down. A couple of them staying alive with the help of that Immortality Field, but otherwise, very much a one-sided affair for the Shock.
And you could see that was such a crazy good setup for the Spitfire 2. They had this set play. They wanted to set up the Blizzard into the Flux. It looked all too perfect. But the Shock just didn't give them time for the setup. They just came in and crashed the party. Choyobin's the one who's the engagement tool, you know, and Spitfire just didn't get to use what they had, and now they're not in good position for the Mei Blizzard.
You see them just poke out around the corner there just for a moment, and Fury nearly gets picked off. Immortality Field's going to be used, the Valkyrie going out. Striker gets boosted up.
Oh,
over the top, Meteor Strike into the back, and that's a double kill for Sinatra. Gesture and Fury both going to be taken down. Guard falling just moments before Seismic Slam will get rid of Badoshan. And that is nearly the wipe there. London Spitfire, with 35 seconds remaining, have to make it to the end, but the cart is still sitting at B. It's rolled back as far as it can go.
The check marks you see next to Prophet and Gesture, those are the ultimates they've been wanting to use, but they lose value over time. The fact that you have ultimates and you have ult advantages won't mean anything if you can't get into position to use them. They're going to have to use the Immortality Field here again to get out of this choke.
Sinatra waiting on the flank. They look to hold them off the side, but the barrier blocks that one out. The Flux puts Striker down on the ground, and Guard manages to find the kill. Now they start advancing. The Blizzard freezing up 3.
Great Blizzard.
That will be the cleanup here, but they still have so far to go as we get ready to roll into OT. Choyobin going to be dropping down, will be finished off in the end.
That was a long-range Blizzard across the gap and into that room. And it could have been absorbed by Choyobin too. There's always that small chance. Prophet makes it happen. He finally was like, I'm just going to force this ultimate. They're not giving me any chances. I'm going to hit the God tier 3-pointer all the way across. They've got a fight where they can win with this with the Supercharger as long as they can deal with the tank configuration here. Choyobin going to be the engager once again.
The big Flux goes out.
It's a big one.
Pulling them away from the card as best as possible. Still going to be forced out with the overtime, but Gesture will fall. Violet finds the kill. Nuss going to be taken down as well. Just Badoshan by himself. But you can see the configuration tank coming in. The shots connecting and everyone falling. OT will plummet as well. And the San Francisco Shock will be able to find a map victory on Numbani.